Hello everyone, welcome back to the Pokémon Renewal Project. Today covering
Fearow!
the beak Pokémon. The evolved form of the aggressive Fearow, this big birds roam all over the Kanto region since ancient times, looking for food to steal and prey to gore with its huge drill of a beak. Certainly more fearsome than its counterpart Pidgeot. It suffers the same fate though, being an early route bird Pokémon of an early generation. And then just to rub salt in the wound, Game Freak gave its competitor a mega evolution without even looking Fearow's way. Such is the fate of some unlucky members of the original 151. But with its mighty wings, beak, and incredible stamina, it must have had some success and competitive, right? Not so, unfortunately. But that's what we're here for, to ask how we're going to renew it. Yet again, we find a Pokémon with only two possible abilities. Sniper, which powers up critical hits, and our buffed Kenai, which now also ignores defensive stat boosts. Pretty fitting for the Oni drill. What a metal name. But, of course, it's unfair to just get two. So, we'll give it a new one. And to me, Moxie feels incredibly good and fitting, with its borderline bully personality, even if it's mostly illustrated solely through the anime. This would let Fearow gain attack boosts after another whenever it knocks out an opponent, becoming a scary sweeper after a kill or two. Compounded with its already high speed, it might be a veritable threat when played right. As a side note, thinking about this brought the ability Rattled to my attention. Feels good and fitting for the Pokédex entries describing how it swiftly senses and flees danger, getting a speed boost when hit by dark and bug type moves, which wouldn't be flying towards it, but it gives some utility to bait and switch into one of these moves. However, upon researching Fearow's struggles further, I decided that this didn't do enough. But nonetheless, I also proposed to give it a little buff, making it activate in doubles whenever the Pokémon is in the field while a move of those types is used, not just while being targeted by one, which gives the player using this ability the chance to activate it on its own with the other Pokémon it controls, being really strong. In terms of base stats, Fearow has 442, pretty bad honestly, leaving us a total of 58 points to redistribute to reach our goal of 500. 79 once we reduce the special attack to 40, since it's completely useless for it. So, the new stats are 85 HP, 130 attack, 65 defense, 65 special defense, and 115 speed. Most of these buffs are offensive, meant to keep a slight advantage over other normal types we've gone over so far. Unfortunately, that means that its bulk remains pretty bad, which is worse given the plethora of offensive power creep in this project. But damn is the offense there, along with a pretty good increase to HP. I'll go over some calcs once we go through the revised moveset, but the speed tier is amazing, and so is the massive attack stat. It's time for some changes in our format, so now I won't be going over each Pokemon's existing move pool, since you guys can just do it yourselves, look it up. Instead, I'll solely focus on the new stuff. That being said, Fearow's move pool is, well, let's address the elephant in the room first and just give it Brave Bird. There's no reason why it shouldn't learn Brave Bird, especially since it's shown to be so aggressive in the anime, which we already took inspiration from for its ability. I know the in-game Pokédex talks about how it avoids conflict and flees, but this is a much cooler version of Fearow, and it puts that intimidating, slightly edgy design to good use. So, let it be offensive well, it deserves more than just Drill Peck. Speaking of which, Drill Peck should be buffed. I think it should either have an increased crit chance or a chance to lower the target's defense. I prefer the increased crit chance for sniper synergy with Fearow specifically. When looking at the rest of the move pool, we find how lacking it is, especially in offensive coverage. However, it has some pretty good attacks with our recently buffed Drill Peck, of course, our buffed 90 base power Pluck, and 100 accuracy Steel Wing. And while it makes sense that this normal ass bird doesn't get no elemental powers, it just doesn't feel fair for its competitive viability. So what I wanna give it is Seed Bomb. To hit the ground types it will be switching it to. I'm sure that it can spit seeds real well through that beak, not to knock off to cannon. Extreme Speed, to give more power to the normal priority stab, it already has. Knockoff for the amazing utility and dark coverage in case Pursuit never comes back, though it already has Throat Chop, but this is way better. And Sword Stance, to become able to set up, since its only attack boosting move is Work Up. On an unrelated side note, since it would be special, for a flying type Freeze Dry, I propose Air Cutter, becoming super effective against rock types, firing this anime super sharp wind that can even cut through stone. Feels pretty appropriate. With the new stats, facing off against Gen 8 National Dex OU threats, unboosted with a jolly nature, we find that Brave Bird, Okos, Rillaboom, Serperior, Bulu, Volcarona, and Weavile is guaranteed to 2-hit KO the likes of Blissey, Clef, Chomp, Kartana, and Kumo. Drill Run is guaranteed to 2-hit KO Excadrill, has a chance to OHKO Heatran and Magnezone. Seed Bomb honestly feels kinda redundant with the extreme power of Brave Bird, but having it is still nice in certain matchups. And obviously you'll be able to pick off any stragglers or survivors with E-Speed, which thanks to Stab can 2-hit KO a lot of offensive threats. Honestly, it ends up being extremely strong with this move only. Imagine it running Silk Scarf, SD, Roost, E-Speed, Extreme Killer Fearow. Could you imagine it? And all that is without factoring in abilities or boosting items. Overall, I think these changes may even be a little too much, making Fearow an incredible threat, but one that can still be walled pretty hard by some steals like Corviknight and Ferrothorn, which is why I didn't want to give it a fire move. Still keeps some semblance of balance. But tell me what you think. Too much damage? Is it still bad because it still dies to the first random super effective move out there? Would you give it even more coverage? More importantly, is it all fun? Remember to subscribe and hit bell so you don't miss my changes to your favorite mon. I've been Kilmo, and that's all I have for today's episode of the Pokémon Renewal Project. I'll hopefully see you next time.